The moment we've all been waiting for. Isagi Yoichi, the Demon King of Blue Lock, has delivered the final goal. With the new Egoist League coming to a thrilling end, what will Michael KAISER do, and when will we see him next? What's going on, everyone? My name is Animasu, and in today's video, we'll be taking a look at the recently released Blue Lock Chapter 294, titled Champion. If you enjoy staying up to date with Blue Lock or just want to support my channel, please take a moment to click that subscribe button and comment below any video ideas you'd like to see. I also have a community Discord you can find linked in the description, so feel free to join up and say hello. Without further ado, let's get right into today's chapter, and I hope you all enjoy. Blue Lock Chapter 294 kicks off with the usual intro text which states, "The world gets overturned with an explosive golden goal. The egotistical Demon King who scored devoted himself purely to victory." As the ball rips into the back of the net with immense aura, the entire world is watching Blue Lock TV and erupts in excitement. Meanwhile, at the bottom of the page, someone is sprinting intensely across the field. Isagi Yoichi explodes in the celebration. Arms outstretched, he roars in triumph while knee-sliding across the pitch. The announcers lose their minds, screaming his name as the world shakes with energy. This moment is a mirror of his U20 luck goal celebration, but it's just even more raw and intense. The double spread also just goes insanely hard, capturing the raw passion behind Isagi's moment, a celebration reminiscent of his real-life counterpart Isagi. Every single player from Bayern Munich goes sprinting straight for Isagi, their faces frozen in pure shock and amazement. Yoichi, Corona, Raichi, even Igarashi, every original Blue Locker on the team rushes towards him. The announcers are going crazy, their voices booming over the stadium. As everyone leaps onto Isagi's back, he clenches his fist in victory. The announcers clarify the magnitude of his goal. Not only did Bayern Munich win this match, but they secured total victory in the new Egoist League. With a perfect record of 4 wins, 0 losses, Bayern Munich stands undefeated. But while one side celebrates, PXG is left in ruins. Players like Charles, Katasu, and Zantetsu look shaken, clearly rattled by their loss. But the real terror is in the eyes of Tokumitsu and Nanase. They know the truth. Their time in Blue Lock may be over. Their impact in this arc was minimal at best, and now, with the NEL over, the reality of being cut is sinking in fast. With BM still erupting in celebration, one player doesn't move at all though. Michael KAISER instead drops to his knees, staring blankly ahead while looking completely dead inside. The fallen Emperor has been dethroned. Just moments ago he was the ace of the team, the one destined to shine. Now in the blink of an eye, he's been relegated to a side character, forced to watch as Isagi claims his spotlight. KAISER looks utterly distraught, slowly piecing together what went wrong. While he stopped in confusion, frozen by the fact that Alexis Ness had the ball, Isagi did not hesitate. Instead of questioning the play, Isagi instantly adapted, moving up the pitch to his next position with no break. As the scene shifts, flashbacks and even a small chibi demonstration break down exactly how he outplayed everyone. He executed a smart breakout run, using pure game sense to shake off Itoshi marking. By baiting the into colliding with KAISER and Shido as obstacles, he slipped through undetected, creating the perfect opening. But that wasn't all. In that instant, Isagi could feel it. He just knew Ness would go for the ultimate pass. It wasn't logic, it wasn't luck. It was his instincts fully synchronized with the flow of the game. He gambled everything on this moment, trusting in his read and sprinting into position before anyone else could even consider the possibility. And then came the real highlight, the drive pass that came from behind him. Even with the ball out of his direct line of sight, Isagi was still able to gauge the distance, adjust his body, and perfectly time a direct shot. The thing is though, that was a victory Michael KAISER could have claimed too. As he stares ahead, the weight of his failure sinks in. His eyes drift towards Alexis Ness who stands frozen, murmuring his name with tears welling in his eyes. At that moment, KAISER realizes the truth. If he had truly understood Ness's mind, if he had adapted the way Isagi did, he could have been the one to score that final goal. But instead of passing to the old Michael KAISER, the one who ruled with arrogance and control, Ness chose to pass to the version of KAISER that believed he could evolve. It wasn't just an assist, it was an act of faith, a plea for the Emperor to change and rise anew. Instead though, KAISER just froze up and let his anger take over. He had convinced himself that it was impossible for a pig like Alexis Ness to change, so he wrote him off entirely and stopped considering him as a factor on the field. In that critical moment, he refused to see the evolution happening right before his eyes. For a brief second, KAISER thinks that this is it. His failure to recognize Ness was the reason for his defeat. But as his eyes drift back towards Ness, his thoughts sharpen, cutting deeper. Above that, beyond anything else, the biggest reason he lost, it was because playing with Isagi Yoichi was too much fun. KAISER, the cold and calculated Emperor, begins to crash out, rage boiling over, not because he lost, but because he actually had fun. His entire body tenses, frustration pouring out as he processes a feeling. This wasn't just some random breakdown. For the first time, KAISER wasn't playing out of fear, hate, or the pressure to dominate. For once in his life, he saw the beauty in the game, the thrill of competition, the joy of clashing egos at the highest level. The exalting feeling of invincibility made KAISER weak in his own eyes. Instead of returning to zero, instead of diving into his malicious urges and his ruthless hunger for victory, he'd let it go. Without even realizing it, he'd embraced the freedom Isagi gave him. He didn't fight against it, he drove straight into it, and that's what broke him. As his eyes swell up with even more anger, the truth becomes clear. Alexis Ness didn't lose him that point. The real reason he fell short was because he let go of his hatred, his malice towards Isagi. With Isagi finally walking up to KAISER, stopping just in front of him, he asked one simple question. Is Alexis Ness special to you? To Isagi, Ness is just another player with hidden potential. Nothing more, nothing less. But in that final moment, KAISER let his judgment be clouded. Instead of seeing Ness for what he was, a piece on the field to be utilized, he thought in terms of their relationship, their dynamic up to this point. He treated Ness differently because he'd already deemed him worthless. As Isagi reaches out his hand to KAISER, stepping closer, his voice remains steady. KAISER let his emotions control him. He couldn't become a goal-scoring machine because in the end, he hesitated. And that hesitation, the inability to strip away everything and think in pure logic, was the final piece that decided the winner. KAISER, visibly shaken, stares at Isagi's outstretched hand. Confusion flickers across his face before he stutters, asking what the hell he's doing. Without hesitation, Isagi reminds him. Their one-goal contract is now over. Thanks for the hard work, my shitty clown. Isagi's voice is ice cold as his eyes revert to his primal ego state, drilling straight into KAISER's soul. The words cut deep, rubbing salt into an already gaping wound, and KAISER snaps. His frustration, his humiliation, everything boils over as Isagi makes it clear. Their contract is over and he wants nothing to do with him. After all the torment, belittling, and arrogance KAISER threw at him, Isagi has every right to kick a man while he's down. Do not tell me otherwise. The next page cements the reality of this match, showing the final score, 3-2 in favor of Bayern Munich. With rage still surging through him, KAISER smacks Isagi's hand away, his head drooping low as he bites down on his lip, completely consumed by defeat. Alexis Ness meanwhile just stands there in silence, unable to even process what just happened. But not everyone is mourning. Shida Ryuze, watching from a distance, is grinning wide, his eyes gleaming with excitement. Isagi's sheer ego, his ability to step on the king and take the throne for himself, is exactly the kind of explosion he loves to witness. We then get an incredible double spread of Isagi Yoichi walking away as the undisputed champion, his fist clenched and pumped into the air for victory. Behind him, Michael KAISER collapses to his knees, the weight of defeat pressing down. But the most intense reaction comes from itoshi, who is staring daggers into Isagi, his tongue still hanging out, predator eyes fully activated. His fixation is still burning bright, and I cannot wait to see what kind of development he gets. A loud buzz is suddenly echoed through the stadium, snapping everyone out of the moment. The intercoms announced the official end of the new Egoist League, declaring that all matches have now been completed. Players across the field look up at the massive monitor for the final salary rankings as they're about to be revealed, the moment that will decide who makes the top 23. But before the results can be shown to us, the scene shifts. The last page of today's chapter jumps back 33 minutes earlier, rewinding in the midst of FC Barca vs Munchen City. Under the pressure, Reo Mikage is screaming out, his voice ringing across the pitch as the ball soars to an eerily calm Nagi Seishiro. Something big is about to happen next chapter, and I believe it'll change everything. With chapter 295 titled Number 1, it's pretty likely that next week's chapter will focus on Isagi Yoichi officially claiming the top spot in the new Egoist League. The biggest question now is which team will bid on him. Will Real make a move, or will Bayern Munich want him even more now? I'm also really curious if Michael KAISER's offer will be shown or even maintained after Isagi's dominating performance as the team's ace. On the other side, we're still left wondering what's about to go down with Nagi and Reo, but with how little time we've spent on their match, I would not be surprised if we only get a quick little glimpse. The title could even be a bait and switch, setting up something unexpected in a Barca vs Munchen game instead. Either way, next week's chapter is shaping up to be super crazy with either the rankings or that match, so make sure to drop a comment below with your thoughts and theories. With that sadly being the end of today's chapter overview, I just want to thank you all so much for tuning in. If you enjoy the content I push out and would like to support me, please take a moment to click that subscribe button and comment below any video ideas you'd like to see. I also have a community Discord you can find linked down in the description, so feel free to join up and say hello. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your days, and I'll see you in the next video real soon.